Not again. I'm not agreeing to any of this. I will make this unusable. Use that.
I'm actually on the side of feeling like quite positive about it, really. And I've just seen that Greg Daniels and Michael Coleman, they're the program creators. So I feel like it's in good hands. The cast look interesting. Domhnall Gleeson, I've seen him before. He seems to be playing like the main kind of like boss character.
Yeah, I'm kind of in the middle with this. I think it could go either way because despite Greg Daniels being involved, which obviously that gives you hope. Yeah, I'm just not sure because we know what happened with the 8th and 9th seasons of The Office.
Yeah.
Of the US one. I'm not saying there weren't great moments, but yeah, I don't know. I don't think it looks terrible, but
yeah, I know what you mean. I'm kind of like,
I don't know.
I'm cautiously like optimistic.
Yeah. I mean, it's got just terrific actors involved.
Yeah, I don't know. Just looking at the trailer, I get the vibe that it's going to be quite subtle comedy, which is what the American Office just did so well. Like like a lot of people compare the UK one and the US one, and they say the US one is like really bombastic and loud and ridiculous and outrageous and slapstick and just stupid generic humor. I completely disagree. I think what made the US one so fantastic and so legendary is how it actually kind of managed to like pack in a lot of what made the UK one so good, but just with so many more layers, like awkward comedy. Like the US one has awkward cringe humor in it, but it also has a lot of other elements that are just kind of more fleshed out. You know, the characters are explored in more depth and there's just more directions that it goes. And I think that's it. And it is subtle humor, in my opinion. I think the US one is subtle, especially the early seasons.
That does beg the question, especially concerning this one. What is subtle comedy in 2025?
Yeah, that's a good question.
I completely understand what you're saying, but is that going to be as effective as it was back then?
Yeah.
And just given like the climate that we're in, with the kind of humor that people enjoy and the jokes that you can make.
100%. If this show is like really politically correct, it is going to be shit, like really shit. And that's a good question, actually. In the context of the year that we're in right now, it was just a different time back then in like 2005 and 6. Like we forget how old that show was and just the direction it could go. But to be fair, there's not a lot in the trailer that kind of leads us to think that it's going to be like really irreverent and not care about that sort of stuff. Like it seems relatively safe in the trailer, but I don't think necessarily it has to be like really like, you know, offensive and
like not at all.
Like I said, just irreverent. It just has to be funny. It doesn't have to be taking risks. But again, if it is overly politically correct, it will fail massively.
Absolutely.
Like, and that's the problem. I think that's why you're probably feeling a little bit like
I would say so because. Did you watch Greg Daniels' last show? I believe it was called Space Station.
Spaced. What was it called actually? It was like. It didn't do very well.
Oh no, it did terribly, and that was the whole pitch of that was like the Office in Space Force. That's it.
Yeah.
That is why I'm kind of worried.
Did you see Space Force?
I did see a couple of episodes.
Yeah.
And despite the fact, everyone's really trying. Like, Steve Carell isn't half-arsing it.
Yeah.
It just didn't work. I mean, maybe that's because of the setting. The fact that it is like they're trying to take that mockumentary style humor.
Yeah.
In a sci-fi context, maybe that was why. But I don't know. I think that show it didn't really know what it wanted to be, and that could be an issue with this one.
Yeah,
because honestly, off that trailer, what I'm seeing, I don't think it looks good. I don't think it looks bad, but.
It just looks like...
I didn't get really a sense of the tone. I don't know if you found that.
Yeah, maybe it was the music in the trailer. I don't know. I do agree with you, but I think it's also very, very important just because of how inevitable it's going to be that people will jump on the hate wagon straight away, regardless of whether it's good or not on this show, just because of it's riding off the back of just such a legendary show. People are just going to be comparing it. I'm going to try to not compare it when I go in. I'm really excited for it. And I think it's one of those shows that we definitely need to just kind of give good grace at the beginning.
Give it a chance.
And stop trying to compare it. Like you say, we're in a different time right now. And like I said, if it is overly woke, it's not going to do well. But it doesn't have to be over the top in terms of like how irreverent and ridiculous it is. I mean, you know, The Office
has to be funny.
Yeah, the Office US was actually very subtle in the way that it was irreverent. It was just kind of like really random offhand comments that Michael would make, or a random character would make about, you know, Oscar being gay or something like that, or, you know, just like just the subject of being gay. That was just a bigger discussion back in 2005. Now it's just like no one really cares. It's just a different point right now. And like, what are the markers of what, you know, what kind
Like
of
what's funny?
Yeah,
what
reflects the time.
People.
And it's it would just be interesting to see. But it's funny that you say about the last seasons of like The Office, because there's a big discussion there to be had, like about kind of like really where it fell off. You know, I mean, season 8 and 9, a lot of people say that they are just horrendous. They don't even watch them. They, you know, it's basically as soon as Michael left, like the episode where he leaves is essentially the finale to them. And I think it is all riding on whether you just like the direction that it goes after, and like whether you like the certain characters that come in. Like, people detest Catherine Tate's character in
Nellie.
Nellie, yeah.
Oh, I mean, it's a bit jarring to have her in there, but she was fine.
I thought she was really good in it, actually.
She was funny.
Like, her character was kind of annoying at the beginning, but I think it ended up well.
She was okay.
And also, if like, a lot of people really do not like Robert California.
I love Robert California.
Yeah, so do I.
I wanted to learn more about him. He was such a weird character.
He was only in season 8,
Yeah.
and I was quite sad that he wasn't in season 9. I think that's essentially the key to enjoying the next seasons, because if you're not on board with the direction that just comes along with having Robert California, it just
you're
takes
not gonna like it.
Yeah, it just has such a
all.
different direction. He adds such a like tonal shift to the dynamics of the characters. Like, he's so he brings such a seriousness to the dynamics. And I thought it was just a really intelligent decision to bring in a character like that, because it wasn't like they were trying to just replace Michael. It wasn't like, oh, Michael Scott's gone, now let's bring in, you know, someone to like what was his name? The guy from The Anchorman.
Oh, Will Ferrell.
Will
No, I
Ferrell.
was going to say that. I mean, that is definitely an example of them kind of struggling with the later seasons. But luckily, D'Angelo, is that his name?
D'Angelo.
Yeah. I mean, D'Angelo's gone within like how many
Exactly.
episodes?
So they cleverly do it. They put him in
realised,
there.
okay, that's not working.
Yeah. But I think I could be wrong, but it never seemed like their plan was to like, oh, let's just have Will Ferrell replace Steve Carell. We got to be more clever with this. And I actually quite enjoy the later seasons, just for the fact that it goes into more depth with all the side characters, and you see them more in depth, especially like, you know, like Dwight and like Angela and Oscar and Andy. I mean, obviously, you know, it's debatable. We discussed like what the hell happens with Andy, but just like it was just nice to see The Office more as The Office rather than like Michael Scott. You know what I mean? I quite enjoy it for what it is, but I don't like. Look, it's all about how like the humor does get a little bit more silly compared to how it was. Like, I think that's the problem with those.
Yeah,
seasons.
that is the thing. Yeah, especially in season 9.
Yeah,
if you put certain scenes, you know, next to an episode from season 1, 2, 3, or 4, it is definitely a different show.
Yeah.
Not just with, you know, the fact that Michael's gone. It's just some of the humor. It's a bit less nuanced.
Yeah,
it's kind of more like slapsticky and safe.
Yeah.
And
it just depends what you like the Love The Office for. Is it Michael Scott? Is he the heart of the show to you, or is it everyone? Is it everyone else?
And how do you feel about Oscar being a part of it?
I think it's a weird. I mean, cool, but I'm like, it's Oscar. Was he the only actor that they could get involved with this?
So.
You know, imagine if it was like, I don't know, but maybe if it was, say, Dwight, we would be angry because we'd be thinking, oh, this is just not going to be the same.
riding off nostalgia.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, which I mean, maybe they're doing with Oscar, but we don't know. Maybe they're using him brilliantly.
So maybe he's just like the perfect subtle character that has more room for depth and exploration. Like, you know, whereas Dwight, I mean, we've just explored his character just to the fullest extent, and yet they were going to do a spin-off called The Farm, which just I'm glad that didn't end up working because that just didn't seem right.
Oh, what about like Mose and
Mose? Yeah. Just know that basically, actually, one of the episodes in season 9 that is exploring the farm was actually the pilot episode to it, and it just did not do well.
Thank God that didn't happen.
Yes, exactly.
I feel like, especially with The Office, certain characters are best left as
one-off
jokes, or you don't learn much about them.
And that was a primary
And
thing.
like, a lot is hinted at. If they had given any more backstory to Mose or like Shroot
just
Farms,
don't
no,
need
I
to
don't
know
want to know
that.
what Shroot Farms looks like. My mind,
Yeah.
I like what my mind creates, like what my mind comes up with, like what the hell's going on down there.
Yeah. Like his whole beet farm business isn't to be explored in more
exactly.
depth, and that's
if
why
it was, that would just be it would be uninteresting.
Yeah, exactly.
Who wants to watch a show about that?
And there was something in during COVID. I don't know if you remember, but there was like a Kickstarter.
I do remember. Wasn't
Stanley?
Stanley, that's it. He was trying to get his own show.
Yeah, he was trying to get his own show.
I just think that was a case of people being, stuck in their houses during the pandemic and being bored and needing something to do.
Yeah, I'm so glad that didn't work either.
Yeah.
Like Stanley is just the least.
He's hilarious.
He's hilarious. He's fantastic.
Yeah.
He's crucial to The Office.
Yeah.
But as like a
whole
standalone,
show,
he's like probably arguably one of the least intriguing people to focus on. So I'm so glad that didn't work either. So it's an interesting show, the directions they're going. But I've always just liked how restrained they've been with these these ideas of having all these other spin-offs and everything like that. But when it comes to this, it's just like there's something about The Office to me that is just it's so important. It's such a reflection of the times.
It's home.
It's home.
Yeah.
It's comfort, and just to see that Greg Daniels is going back to like this, just that something tells me that he's not gonna half-ass it. He's gonna take it seriously. He knows how much is riding on this, how much potential is there, how much people will be intrigued from the get-go. He knows what a iconic show that was. I just have a feeling that if he's going to step back into it, he's going to have thought it through properly. And that's why I just have high hopes for it. But I could be completely wrong. I mean, these things do happen. Maybe it was just a one-hit thing.
I will say, for all the faults of season 7, 8, and 9, it's a solid ending.
Yeah.
It's a really good finale.
Yeah, it's a good finale.
It's a
and
very
also
good finale.
I'm one of the rare people that really enjoyed the dynamics between Jim and Pam. There's a bit of tension between them. I really thought wow, this is such a perfect direction to explore once Michael is gone. Because Jim and Pam was we said, some people don't like Jim and Pam because they've always been the audience surrogate. They're always the pure, most rational, level-headed people in the show. And they've always been just the perfect couple. And then for the show to go into depth about them having issues and struggling back and forth and actually having tension in the relationship, I just thought was a perfect direction for the show to go. And it's interesting that a lot of people said that was just just really not needed and unnecessary. I think that's just the case of just people just thinking that the whole idea of just having the show without Michael Scott,
it's whether you're
pointless.
on board with that.
Exactly, yeah. But yeah, it's coming out soon. We'll definitely do a review of when it comes out.
Yeah.
And really looking forward to it.
Crossed.
Fingers crossed. Please
good
don't
one.
let us down, Greg Daniels.
Yeah.